Absolutely. I think that you bring so many, what I would consider, and I think to many Americans, many Americans, they want peace. They want to be done with these wars. I mean, people voted for Barack Obama in 2008 with the hope that he would get us out of the wars. And I think to some extent, there were a lot of Trump voters who cast a vote for Donald Trump because they thought that he would get people out of the war. And, one of the things that struck me during your campaign was, how many of these things that I would consider, obvious, necessary proposals were greeted with, such smears. It seems that anytime that anybody, particularly a woman candidate, thought to challenge the military-industrial complex, there were smears against you and Tulsi Gabbard, who you mentioned early. And, from many prominent Democrats, a party that brands itself as a party of women, resorting to what seemed like, frankly, blatantly sexist attempts to undermine your credibility, your intelligence, and your ability to lead by, claiming that you were some, hokey, kooky woman who wanted peace, which is an impossibility. Like, how could we ever have that? I just wondered if you could talk a little bit about that experience, what that was like to be the focal point of smears from a party that you thought was your own, and also if that changed your political position at all and how you felt about the Democratic Party?
On a personal level, it was very painful. And it was also surprising because I naively thought that our side didn't act that way. I had mentioned things like Latin America. I had mentioned certain things on the debate stage, which clearly made somebody say, in a very high position, say, get that woman off the stage. Tulsi herself said to me later, she said, you and I, it wasn't that we saw things that other candidates didn't see, but we were willing to look at the people and say, we see you. So within 3 days, of course, the smears began. And the talking points were so obviously consciously drawn, dangerous, crazy. It was almost like something out of the Middle Ages or something. She's dangerous, she's crazy, she's a grifter, she's anti-medicine, she's anti-science. But also, I think it's worth noting how easily duped people were. I mean, that was, you really got to see how easy it is to make a joke of someone. And of course, this is how that character assassinates. Very interesting. The strategy is not to shut someone up. The strategy is just to make her appear in a way that the pseudo-sophisticates would think, oh, well, I'm too cool, I'm too smart to listen to her. They see 1 or 2 tweets or 1 or 2 planted articles or 1 or 2 people who know nothing about my work, people writing about my books who clearly have never read my books, talking about my work with AIDS patients who clearly were not there. So yes, on a personal level, it hurt, but then on another hand, I should have fought back in ways that I was sort of advised not to. I think the most important thing, though, is not anyone's personal story, including my own. What is important, however, is that we learn the lessons from that we learn how vicious the elite establishment is about protecting its turf. And they feel that their turf is really the whatever the conversation is going to be. And you cannot go to the right, you cannot go to the left, and you cannot go above, and you cannot go below it. That's number one. But also, I think that many people, since I've seen so many people talking about this, wow, we slept on Marianne Williamson, blah, blah, blah. I hope that people are asking themselves, it's not about me personally, but ask themselves, would you have thought you were a person so easily taken off the track, taken off the, boy, they didn't have a hard time. That's what was so amazing. That's number one. And number two, would it have been so easy had I been a man? I didn't have any experience as elected official, neither did Andrew Yang. He's a businessman. Well, actually, I've had my own share of experience. So I think there are things for people to look at. My own, as a person, it's something I went through, something I learned from, but this is much bigger than any one person. And what you see now, the continuation of this is what's important now. That was then, this is now. And what you're seeing now, as you clearly are aware, is how progressives are being treated right now. We know what happened to me and Tulsi. Okay, we know what happened to Bernie. We know that progressives were sidelined in the Biden campaign. We know that progressives, for the most part, were left out of the convention. And right now, as we speak, I am one of those people who felt very strongly about electing Biden because I do believe there was a neo-fascist in the White House, still is for a few days. I did believe that the existential imperative was to break the free fall of democracy that he represented. But I didn't do so naive about what the neoliberal establishment represents. And I, like many people, am pretty much holding my breath to see what these appointments are going to be. I'm very impressed by AOC and others who are holding a line. When people say, wait until the dust settles, that's absurd. Once the dust settles, that means the corporatists have already been appointed and they will hear us out. Hear us out. No. We want to be more than listened to. I have a friend who heads a large nonprofit, anti-hunger and anti-poverty nonprofit, who said something to me years ago that I never forgot. I asked him the difference between the Obama administration and the Bush administration. And his response was very chilling. It was, the Obama administration returns our calls.